Introduction: Humiliation. Can public humiliation be a celebrity's gateway to greater power? This question lies at the heart of a fascinating pattern in American media, where stars are lifted to dizzying heights, torn down through scandal or trial, and sometimes elevated again to an even loftier status. Consider Sean "Diddy" Combs, whose recent legal saga offers a compelling case study. On July 2, 2025, a jury delivered a mixed verdict, convicted on prostitution-related charges but acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking, a decision that has left the public buzzing. This moment of public shame, amplified by headlines about his freak-off parties and lavish lifestyle, raises a provocative possibility. Could this be part of a ritualistic rite of passage, paving the way for a success that transcends conventional measures like money and fame? Welcome to Some Things Are Relative, where we explore life's big questions through a philosophical lens. This video delves into the cycle of uplift, tear down, and potential uplift that defines celebrity culture, questioning whether humiliation serves as a deliberate step toward a new echelon of influence, perhaps cultural divinity or a transcendent legacy. Drawing on the ideas of thinkers like Thomas Hobbes, Michel Foucault, Immanuel Kant, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Carl Jung, we'll examine the ethics of this phenomenon, its societal roots, and what it might mean for figures like Diddy. Is this a natural human dynamic, a scripted narrative, or a hidden contract with power brokers? Join us as we unpack this complex interplay, inviting you to reflect and share your thoughts. Let's begin with the media cycle that sets the stage. The media cycle: uplift, tear down, uplift. The American media landscape thrives on a predictable rhythm: uplift, tear down, and occasionally uplift again. Sean "Diddy" Combs embodies this cycle vividly. His rise began in the 1990s as a music mogul with Bad Boy Records, producing hits and hosting iconic white parties that cemented his status as a cultural icon. This uplift phase showcased wealth, influence, and charisma, earning him a place in the pantheon of celebrity. Yet the teardown phase struck with force. The July 2, 2025 trial brought allegations of prostitution rings and salacious details dubbed freak-offs splashed across tabloids and social media, turning public adoration into scrutiny. Despite the acquittal on major charges, the conviction on lesser counts, and his detention until sentencing on October 3, 2025, mark a public fall. This pattern isn't unique to Diddy. Robert Downey Jr. faced drug-related legal battles in the 1990s, only to rise as Iron Man, a global superstar. Britney Spears endured a conservatorship battle, her tear-down phase, before a Howard Free Britney movement uplifted her anew. These cases suggest a recurring narrative, prompting a philosophical inquiry. Is this cycle a reflection of human nature's duality? Thomas Hobbes, in his Leviathan, argued that society operates under a social contract where power balances admiration and punishment to maintain order. The media, as a modern arbiter, might amplify this by lifting stars to inspire, tearing them down to enforce accountability, and uplifting them to restore harmony. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow archetype offers another lens. The shadow represents the darker, suppressed aspects of the psyche. Diddy's alleged excesses mirror this. Public humiliation could be society's way of confronting its own shadow, with the celebrity's redemption serving as a collective catharsis. Yet the uplift phase hints at more, a transformation beyond mere fame. For Diddy, post-trial resilience, his legal team framing it as a victory, suggests a narrative arc toward a new influence, perhaps cultural divinity. But is this organic or orchestrated? Let's explore the ritualistic possibility. Humiliation as a ritual. The ethics of power. What if public humiliation is not a random downfall but a deliberate rite of passage? A ritual that propels celebrities to a higher plane of power. This hypothesis emerges as we consider Diddy's trial not as an end, but a transformative stage. Michel Foucault's theories on power and discipline provide a framework. In Discipline and Punish, Foucault argues that power is exercised through visibility. Public shaming, like Diddy's trial broadcasted globally, becomes a tool to reinforce control. If celebrities are subjected to this spectacle, it might serve as an initiation, a controlled narrative where humiliation disciplines them into a new role within elite circles. Imagine a secret contract or arrangement, a pact with power brokers, media moguls, industry insiders who orchestrate this cycle. Diddy's partial acquittal, despite damning publicity, could signal a negotiated outcome, preserving his brand for a comeback. This aligns with the idea of a humiliation ritual, where enduring public scorn becomes a badge of endurance, unlocking explosive success. Historical parallels exist. Roman triumphs turned defeated generals into celebrated figures through public spectacle, suggesting a cultural precedent for turning shame into glory. But what are the ethics of such a system? Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative asks, would we will this as a universal law? If all celebrities must face public trials to ascend, the morality crumbles. Exploitation replaces merit. Yet the allure persists. Diddy's trial, with its freak-off revelations, has kept him relevant, his name trending on X with millions of impressions. This visibility might pave the way for a cultural divinity, a status where he transcends music mogul to a symbol of resilience or redemption, influencing beyond conventional metrics. The ethical tension lies in consent. Is this a voluntary rite, where celebrities like Diddy sign up for the fall to gain a higher stake, or an imposed ordeal, a hidden contract they can't escape? Foucault might argue it's the latter, a disciplinary mechanism embedding power in the celebrity's very identity. Kant would counter that it violates autonomy, reducing humans to pawns. For Diddy, the next level could mean a legacy as a cultural iconoclast, his shame rewritten as a heroic narrative. But at what cost to his dignity and society's values? The next level, beyond conventional success. If humiliation is a rite of passage, what does the next level of success look like for Diddy? Conventional measures, money, fame, power, are already his domain, with a net worth estimated at over $900 million pre-trial. The post-humiliation ascent suggests a progression beyond these, perhaps to a transcendent influence or cultural divinity. Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialism offers insight. In Being and Nothingness, Sartre posits that individuals define themselves through their choices and actions. Diddy's response to his trial, defiant statements, a legal team's spin, could be an act of self-creation, turning confinement into liberation. This liberation might manifest as a cultural legacy. Post-trial, Diddy could rebrand as a survivor, his story resonating with those who faced public judgment. His music, philanthropy, or even a memoir could elevate him to a mythic status, a figure whose humiliation becomes a parable of resilience. Carl Jung's idea of individuation, the process of integrating the shadow, supports this. By confronting his public shame, Diddy might emerge as a whole self, influencing society's collective psyche. This aligns with the uplift again phase, where teardown becomes a foundation for a new identity. Yet a paradox emerges. Can confinement, legal detention until October 3, 2025, or social ostracism truly liberate? Hegel's dialectics, with its thesis-antithesis-synthesis model, suggests yes. The thesis, Diddy's fame; antithesis, trial humiliation; and synthesis, cultural divinity, form a progression. His current state, confined yet defiant, could synthesize into a narrative of triumph, where the media and public elevate him anew. This might involve secret arrangements, industry deals, or media narratives, ensuring his return, as some speculate on X about elite packs. But what does this say about society? If humiliation is a rite, it reflects a culture that fetishizes struggle and redemption, valuing the comeback over the journey. Diddy's potential ascent to a transcendent influence, beyond wealth to a moral or cultural voice, challenges us to ask, is this a noble evolution, or a cynical exploitation of human empathy? The ethics hinge on intent. Is it Diddy's choice to endure this, or a script imposed by unseen hands? Conclusion and call to action: humiliation as a path to power paints a complex picture in the American media space. For Sean Diddy Combs, the July 2, 2025 trial may be more than a legal battle. It could be a rite of passage, a ritualistic step toward a success that transcends money, fame, and conventional power. The cycle of uplift, teardown, and potential uplift suggests a societal mechanism, perhaps rooted in Hobbes's social contract or Jung's shadow, where public shame disciplines and redeems. Foucault's power dynamics and Kant's ethical lens reveal a tension. Is this a voluntary ascent or an exploitative ordeal? The next level, cultural divinity or transcendent influence, beckons, with Diddy's resilience hinting at a legacy beyond his past. Sartre's existential choice and Hegel's synthesis offer hope, but the possibility of secret contracts raises questions about authenticity. Does society orchestrate this for profit? Or does it reflect a deeper human need to see triumph over adversity? This is where you come in. Is Diddy's trial a rite of passage to cultural divinity or a manipulated narrative? Share your thoughts below. Do you see this as a moral journey or a media game? Like, subscribe, and join the conversation as we explore the relative truths of power and fame. Together, let's ponder what lies beyond the spotlight.